I'm Rachel.
And I'm Jen.
And we are the Sacred Text, a Star Wars podcast.
We're discussing all kinds of print media from a galaxy far, far away, reviewing canon comics and books, and talking to authors, artists, and other Star Wars nerds.
So strap yourselves in as we make the jump to light speed. Punch it, Jen.
Everyone prepare yourselves for Rachel and I to just be a hot mess because this is our last episode on Trials of the Jedi. This is our last episode on a High Republic novel ever that we're going to do. So just that alone is enough to make us just fall to our knees. But then you add in the story that Charles Soule has decided to tell and it makes it even worse. So we're going to try and laugh / cry through this, and we're gonna do it together, and it's gonna be great.
Take some nice deep breaths.
I literally wrote deep breaths at some point in my notes because I had to take deep breaths while I was making notes.
Yeah, wow.
All that to say, we're really glad you're here, we promise, and it's not gonna be the most depressing thing ever, but it's gonna be pretty depressing, so stick with us. Thanks for being here. Before we get into that, though, oh my gosh, we have the Star Warsiest of Star Wars news, right?
Which is that?
That we just saw a Star Wars movie in theaters.
Oh my
God,
yes.
For the first time in 7 years. How long has it been?
Too long. 7 years-ish. Yeah, Yeah, The Mandalorian and Grogu.
It's here.
It's here. Did you end up watching it for the second time?
I did, and that'll unfortunately be my last time. I see people like going 5 times. I'm like, I love that. That's normally what I'll do. It's like $20-something to see a movie nowadays.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
And that's gonna be it for me. But I had a delightful time the second time too. So you went and saw it at a more of a premiere style for the second time.
Yeah, the midnight release, which is now at like 8 o'clock.
We lost midnight release privileges a long time ago.
We really did.
But how was that?
It was so fun. It was a packed theater, and the audience vibe was fantastic. And I really enjoyed watching it again. It was cool to see things with a different perspective and understanding how the story ends and all that. And honestly, I enjoyed it so much more.
Really?
It was so much fun. Yeah. How about you? How was your experience?
It was great. I mean, once you've already seen it, you can spend more of your focus on picking up on little details as opposed to the first time you're just like, Star Wars. Wow, I'm watching Star Wars.
What's happening?
Yeah, exactly. This time I can notice every little detail and it's so much fun. And I just loved it. It was such a good movie.
Such a good movie. Yeah, my nephew saw it and said it was his favorite Star Wars movie ever.
Stop. That makes me so happy.
I know. It's so cute.
I mean, we obviously had fun as adults. I cannot imagine seeing this movie when I was a kid. I would have.
Right?
I mean, I already lost my mind. I would have lost my mind even more.
Totally.
So
he
love
went
that
with the Grogu ears and everything.
Oh my gosh. It's so cute. Everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people are having the best time with it. And that makes me so happy. That's literally what Star Wars is for. So I love that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get to just celebrate that there's a Star Wars movie in theaters.
Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go see it again. I think I might want to see it one more time before it goes away.
Don't worry. It'll probably be in theaters for 6 months.
Oh, perfect.
Maybe we'll both recuperate our $20 and be able to go see it again.
For sure.
Oh, but yeah, that's exciting stuff. Are there any other Star Wars news that we want to talk about?
Yeah, there's a new overlay at the Smuggler's Run at Disneyland and Disney World. It has Mando and Grogu, so the missions are very different, and you can go to different planets. I won't say where, but you get to choose which planets you go to, which is super exciting. And it's just such a fun adventure, especially because you get to see Mando and Grogu running around, and I really enjoyed it a lot.
I
Yeah.
love that.
And then
Yay.
there are new droids, the BDX droids at Disney also. They're
Of course.
super stinking cute. I love seeing them waddle
The
around.
way they walk is so cute.
Cute, and then their head movements and the little chirps and whistles that they make, and some of them try to jump, which is so precious. And all
Yeah.
three that I saw got together and danced, and it was
Stop.
amazing.
Ugh.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. Almost forgot, but it was because I was so overwhelmed with joy. The most important Star Wars news, more important than droids or Mando or anything that could ever happen, is that we got a new comic announcement from none other than Charles Soule
Oh my gosh.
and Will
We haven't
Slimy.
talked about that.
They dropped the news that coming up, I think in August, they're going to start dropping the next of the Kylo Ren comic series.
Yay. So
The
excited.
fall of Kylo Ren.
Amazing. I
We
can't
made
wait.
Predictions for what was coming next, and Rise of Ben Solo was the thought in our heads, which to me is exactly what the fall of Kylo Ren means. So
I don't know. I want to see it. My
Yeah.
dream world would be there's a comic series called The Fall of Kylo Ren, and then the next one is The Rise of Ben Solo. I would
hear
love
me
that.
out.
Even
Agreed.
if it's just like that little snippet of time where he gets yeeted into the abyss.
So that's what I imagined, which I don't care if it's, I mean, I would love to have 5,000 series about this.
Okay.
I don't care if it's in this
Great.
series. I don't care if it's in the next one, whatever. I just need a panel where we see him wake up wherever he went after the Rise of Skywalker. Imagine ending an issue like that.
Uh-huh. I would scream.
I will lose my
Yes.
I'm already losing my mind over this.
I know.
I loved seeing people excited in comments about it, and I hope that they know how much that gave a lot of people life.
Yeah.
No pressure or anything, but
I know.
I'm hanging on by a thread, and the thread is wherever this
Shush.
series goes. So
Yeah, I'm so excited to see what happens with Kylo Ren and how he gets reunited with the Knights of Ren and Tava Ren's presence within that. I'm so curious.
I know I need to see what happens to her. So yeah, that is just such fantastic news. I got nothing else.
I don't have anything else either.
Great, time to be sad again then. So Trials of the Jedi, like we've talked about the last 2 episodes, we split it up into 3 parts for our sake. The book is 5 parts? 5 parts. So it is split up a little differently when you're actually reading it. But this is our part 3, our final episode that we're going to do on Trials of the Jedi. And girl, the way the section started, I almost shut the book.
Yeah, because we
was an
start with
immediate-
chapter 24, right? And
And it was
on
like
the
immediate open it.
homeless.
The homeless planet. Yes. I mean, kinda. Philosophically.
What the heck? Where did that come from? We're at a great start. The Nameless homeworld.
Yes.
They're homeless. It's fine.
What is happening right now, Rachel?
Elzar sees Stellan walk out onto the trail in front of him. And not only that, Stellan has this whole thing where he says, I've been alive this whole time. The Nile smuggled me off of Starlight Beacon and I've been alive. And not only that, he points to Elzar and says, you knew this. What?
This one hurt a lot. Yeah, and he obviously was injured in Starlight Beacon because we thought he died, in this moment. But Elzar can see he's been healed, which means, this story about him being held captive by the Nihil is very realistic from what he's saying. And I hate everything about this interaction of him just being like, you knew that if Avar knew that I was alive, she would have eventually chosen me.
No, Elzar.
And this hurts so much. And I like Elzar admits to himself that he doesn't actually think that that's true, but it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
That is Elzar's mind projecting and playing his insecurities back at himself. So
Yeah, spoiler alert, this is real.
disagree, Elzar. Sorry.
I know. I had a very brief split second where I thought this was real.
Did you really?
And it's because that's what I wanted to be true. I wanted Stellan to still be alive and this to have been the big thing, you know, the big reveal in the book, and having to come to the acceptance that this is not real is rough, even if it's only for a split second that you believe it could be true.
For me, I was glad it wasn't true because I didn't like this version of Stellan. I didn't like how he was just so angry, not only at what happened to him, but at Elzar and Avar. And I was just like, no, thank you.
Yeah, thankfully Avar gathers that Elzar is something's going on and grabs his arm to comfort him and be like, we are just seeing things. So it's obvious she's also seeing things, and Elzar even wonders, who is she seeing? But they don't actually talk about the specifics of it. They keep it to themselves.
No, they don't. But I wonder if they don't go into specifics because Avar has already had hallucinations of other Jedi that have come to haunt her. So to me, it's almost pointless to go into that because we've already seen it before. And I feel like Avar's just kind of like, yep, been there, done that. Okay, these are all the Jedi that I used to believe that I killed, and no more, go away.
Avar's very good at that because I mean, right now they're trying to accomplish something, which is tracking this Nameless through the jungle, right? When all this is happening. Poor Elzar, though, while he's doing this, he can't stop sort of spiraling about, are we in and over our heads right now? And Avar even admits, like, the Song of the Force that she hears sounds like an orchestra where all the instruments got hit with hammers.
Yeah.
No, but where Avar is able to sort of go through that and just keep pushing through and doing what they need to do, Elzar, his mind is not, I don't know what it is. He just can't quite grasp onto the logic as well as she does because he keeps seeing other people.
Yeah, the next people he sees are Orla Jareni and then Chancey Yarrow. I could not handle this description of Chancey Yarrow, who's like not fully cut in half, but partially cut in half, and she's skipping around. I can't.
I know, it is very horror story, like almost two pieces of a person dancing around Elzar, basically, because he did this to her, and you know, he is kind of like, that's not how bad it was, right? So it is all a trick at the end of the day, but he did kill her. And now he's having to see it, and whether or not that's how she really looked in real life is kind of irrelevant at this point.
Definitely. It's terrifying. I would not want to visualize that at all.
They reach a clearing and they see something very odd in the middle of the clearing. What are they looking at?
Yeah, this black stone, this circular black stone, and there's a depression in it where this strange liquid pool is in there, and it is so reflective that it is reflecting the veil in it. So it almost looks like they're peering down into the veil.
They don't know what's on the other side or what this means. I do love Elzar being the academic one. He kind of clocks pretty quickly what he thinks he's looking at, even though he has no real idea. He's like, I think this is a place of transition where two different things meet together. And it made me so curious about what this is. And not only that, but they watch as the Nameless they'd been following is right at the edge of this weird thing, right? And it's obvious it's dying. But it reaches its clawed hand towards this weird reflective pool and then just dies.
It doesn't even have a chance to touch it. It dies before then.
I know, and it's like, what are you reaching for? What are you trying to do?
No, I want to know so badly.
Oh, well, don't worry. And they go approach it, and Elzar's just like, I'm gonna touch it.
Of course he would.
I might have hesitated first, but not Elzar.
No, His curiosity about what it is too strong, so he touches the swirling pool and is immediately pulled into the dark.
It's so cool, though.
It's so cool.
This
And
is
then-
getting into the weird mysticky stuff, and I love that, and you love that. This is the weird stuff I love about Star Wars.
Absolutely. It's so good. And then all of a sudden he senses Avar next to him, even though he can't see her. And I love that Avar was like, I guess I'm going in too. And just.
So I guess we're doing this.
Yeah. But the worst part, though, is Avar says she can't hear the song of the Force. So that's great.
That seems good. Yeah, that seems normal, and like everything's fine. So wow, what a first chapter. We gotta go to chapter 25, where we're still on Planet X, because spoiler alert, we're on Planet X for 95% of the chapters.
The
for this
homeless
section.
world.
The homeless world. Marchion feels great. Marchion's having like the time of his life right now, right?
Yeah, he's so happy because Planet X is eating itself up. And he just knows that the rest of the galaxy is being killed by the Blight.
And he feels
That's
great
fun.
about it. This entire section is super sad. I want to be so clear, I don't feel bad for Marchion in the sense of like Marchion is an adult who makes his own choices. You do feel sad for Marchion that it got to this point where he learned in life that, you know, you can't let yourself feel emotions because those aren't safe. And there's always going to be a come down from feeling happy. And so he avoids that at all costs because he doesn't want to get to that point, right? And now he's like, oh, I can feel everything now because there is no after. I'm going to die. Everything's going to die. This is the only time in Marchion's life he has ever felt safe. That is the saddest thing I've ever heard, while also acknowledging that he is awful and has made terrible, terrible choices. Both of those things can be true at once, right?
I totally agree. What I like about the writing here is that it acknowledges on a deeper level how flawed Marchion is.
Yep.
It's really...
He's in a trap.
He is.
And I mean, whether the trap was his fault for learning or not is kind of irrelevant at this point. The point is that he chose to remain in this trap.
Absolutely.
And now his choices are either to feel peace at the expense of the entire galaxy, or to never feel peace again and to let everyone else continue on. And that's obviously never going to happen.
No.
So, yeah, and his horribly terrifying sentence that I am the only person who has ever mattered in all of existence.
Again.
I know.
Very flawed. Very narcissistic. He can't think about anybody else, and this is just how he has to operate in the galaxy in order to get what he wants.
It is. This is not a man who will be experiencing a redemption arc. That is not even a spoiler. I think we all could have guessed this a long time ago.
Yes.
But yeah, he's standing on this cliff looking down upon what he has done. Into wild
the trees
Nameless.
are thrashing. Everything's dying.
And he's just like, yes, this is it. This is the stuff. And a wild Nameless comes out of the forest. He knows it's not one he took because I guess it looks not decrepit. It's horrific.
Somewhat healthy. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks okay. But Marchion controls it with the rod so it doesn't attack him, because at first it kind of seems like it's going to. But instead he has it do the worst thing. That made me feel really upset.
I know. It was so sad. He controls the Nameless and forces it to jump off the side of the cliff. And the sound that is described here was so horrendous. I'm not a fan.
No. And we get a look at, we were talking about he's put himself in a trap. Here's the trap, is he watches this and he feels that weird peace he gets from ending a life for a half a second. And even then, it's not enough. Even knowing the entire universe is going to die because of what he's done, he still needs more. And that's the trap he's in. It's never going to be enough. Nothing is ever going to be enough to make him feel good. And he sits here and he's like, well, even though I know bad stuff is happening, I wish I knew specifics.
Yeah, he starts to spiral and doubt that what he's doing is in fact affecting the rest of the galaxy. So the only solution to that is to make sure the whole process is sped up a lot. And the only way to do that is to not only control his Nameless, well, all his Nameless are dead, but to control all the Nameless here on Planet X. So he does this crazy thing. So he holds it up high and puts all his will into this final decision, which is, do you think that this moment is when the other Nameless that was about to touch the pool died?
Girl, never even for a second put that together, but probably.
Because it just like randomly died.
It did. That is very sad. This
so
hurt
sad.
my soul. Because we know this is not their fault.
Mm-mm.
And so now all these Nameless who, we're going to learn more about it, but the Nameless that have been on Planet X that have not left don't understand what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so now they're all going to be punished too. None of the Nameless are safe from Marchion, whether they were taken 2 years ago or whether they're being told to die now. And it's just really, really sad.
It's so horrific. I hate this so much.
Well, don't worry.
I'm worrying.
I am too. This is traumatizing in every way.
Yes.
He thinks that he's going to get a stampede of Nameless coming behind him to run off the cliff, and he's going to be like, yes, this feels so good. But when he turns around, it's actually Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is. It's Bell and Burryaga.
No, it's not.
I know.
Wrong
I am
way.
so scared. I'm so scared. But I had to hold out hope that something good has to come.
I had zero hope
this.
at this point. I was like,
no.
this is it. They're all going to be slaughtered.
This first 30 seconds, I was like, maybe there's still hope and one of them can be successful. About a minute into reading this, I was like, never mind. Everything's dark. I've never experienced joy in my life, and I never will again. Burryaga puts Tarek, who Burryaga has been carrying them on his back. He puts Tarek on the ground because Tarek is still in the coma.
Unconscious. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so it's just Ember, our beautiful Charhound, lovely, and then Bell and Burryaga. And Marchion picks up on, by looking at them, that they're affected by the planet. And this is not good. This comes back later. And it's one of those things that sucks about Marchion being so intelligent and so good at observing things like this. That's how he's gotten to where he's gotten in life, is by being so aware of other people's behavior and what he can do to manipulate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Bell and Burryaga ignite their lightsabers, and Marchion's like, I'm going to grab a very special lightsaber. He grabs Loden Greatstorms and ignites it. This is going to go so well.
Yeah, just
Bell
a reminder.
Definitely not going to be killed by Loden's lightsaber.
It's definitely Bell's old master who died. Yes. And that's very upsetting that Marchion was like, I know just what to do. And yeah, that's obviously what went through both of our brains reading this, is that Bell was going to be killed by his own master saber. And I just really can't handle that.
No, because in my mind, this was going to put Bell into such a rage that he would have done something extra stupid. And
we've seen that happen before.
Yep.
You can rage bait Jedi, it turns out.
You can, yes.
Into making wrong decisions. And when they are fighting, they need to be focused and be in a good place in their mind. And Bell is not. And this is not going to help. So yeah, both of us were probably feeling not good feelings right now.
Nope. Don't worry, we're going into a part 3 that's titled The Razor Winds Near, Nothing Can Hold. This sounds promising.
These are all such great titles of the parts that make me feel super confident and good. So I know we get to go back for an interlude to Estar Vera with the sad children on the sad planet where everything's sad. And they're headed for the park where theoretically transports wait for them to evacuate and maybe wink wink their parents. Probably not. I don't know.
Well, things get extra fun because Shauna's little scale pig, Florg, suddenly starts scratching at Shauna and tries to run away from the direction that they're walking towards. And both of the kids are like, what the heck is happening? And that is when they notice the ground ahead starts shaking and the entire buildings and all of the street ahead of them collapse due to blight, including all the people that they were just with too. Everybody's gone.
It's like not only are they going to both have to accept their parents are probably gone, but at some point they're going to accept that they might be gone too. And that's not a lesson kids are supposed to learn.
Oh my God, for sure.
This entire thing is so depressing.
I know. So the kids come up with a plan to go around the blight. I guess Davitt has a way to access this little map and figure out where they should go. And they also use the scale pig to kind of guide them on which way the blight is, since it reacted so negatively to it before.
Yeah.
And it works. They get to the park. Were you surprised by what happens next? Because I was.
Because I was team their parents are dead.
Oh, yeah.
But Davitt hears his name being called, and he's shocked to see that his mom and dad made it here before they did, because his mom is in an emergency hover chair. They've obviously seen help.
Yeah.
And have figured things out. So everything's fine, Rachel, right? Everything's good?
Totally. Their dad is definitely not limping and not going anywhere near everything or everyone.
It's so weird that he's not touching them. That's odd.
And the scale pig, is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that name is so weird to my mind. Starts reacting negatively to their dad.
Oh, also, he's not wearing a mask. Everyone else is wearing a mask. I wonder what could possibly be wrong. Obviously, Davitt knows what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So great. I just thought my dad was alive for 2 seconds, but it turns out now he has to accept he's for sure going to die.
It's so sad.
And even he tries to kind of bring it up to his dad, and he just is like, I have a plan. I totally have a plan for getting them, getting you guys somewhere safe. What a terrible situation this family's.
I know. I feel for them so much. My thought also is just cut the blight part off.
We've talked about this.
Yes.
Anybody have a lightsaber?
Care. Yeah. Does anyone have a lightsaber?
Anyone. Okay.
Goodness.
Chapter 27, back to Planet X. We had a really fun 2 seconds.
Wait, 27?
26.
Okay. I was like, wait a minute.
26.
I hate this chapter. Hate it with every
it was
fiber.
fun for 2 seconds, though.
No, I read it and I was like, well, goodbye, Ember.
I know, anytime they start you on a new POV in the High Republic, you should just be prepared for that POV to die.
An animal.
Yeah, we're like, oh my gosh, Ember's POV, life is fun. And I used to have a family, and now I have tall family, and now I have home family, because that's how Ember refers to Buryaga and Belle, as home friend and tall friend. And I was like, do people refer to me as tall friend?
Maybe an animal.
From here forward, he will only refer to me as tall friend.
Okay.
In honor of Ember. Yeah, so it was fun from a writing perspective to get this POV, because it's fun to see a different way of looking at things, and the way that Ember looks at things is very cool. But it obviously made us both go, something's gonna happen.
Oh my God, absolutely. She's looking at Marchion Ro and says that he's the bad one, and how she hates Planet X and doesn't want to be here, but she's only here because her two friends feel like home, and just kill me now.
She's picking up on the vibes, though.
She is.
And she knows that this not friend wants to hurt her friends. So while he's paying attention to her friends, she's got to sneak around and get him. And I was like, yeah, because you're a good girl.
I know.
Oh.
Yeah, and she is gonna burn him with everything she has. Perfect time to switch POVs to Buryaga, our little empath who can sense everything, who all of a sudden senses Ember right as she's leaping. And he's so shocked that she was able to get so close to Marchion. And he's obviously too far away to actually do anything. And the worst part of it all is Marchion is fully aware that Ember is there. So as she pounces, he turns around and grabs her by the neck.
Yeah, he holds her so tight by her throat that the flames she was swelling up inside of her chest to burn him with are trapped. They have nowhere to go. She's essentially burning herself from the inside.
Oh my god.
And there was no way for this to turn out good for Ember at this point. And Marchion does what he thinks he needs to do to prevent getting burnt. Because if he does anything else, the flames are going to come out and burn him. So he decides he's just going to get her away from him by tossing her off the cliff.
No. Like I said, don't mess with animals. I don't care about the people. This is a lie. But don't mess with the animals.
We say that and then we're both sobbing towards the end of this. But this is where I wrote deep cleansing breaths because I was such a mess during this scene.
I was such a mess.
Oh.
But I loved this next part where Buryaga looks at Belle and Marchion and then he looks at where Ember went and he's like, forget this, and dives off the cliff after her.
That is an empath, people.
I was so like, yay, Buryaga, go get her.
Oh, it's like the only little smidge of hope we get for a while.
Oh, yeah, for real.
Now we're at the real chapter 27.
What's
Not
the
one I said
title
earlier.
of this chapter?
That's such a great question that I don't know because I just wrote Planet X.
Yeah, it's the Nameless homeworld, and this is where I wrote, Jen, do you remember when you said you wanted to spend a lot of time on Planet X?
And well, don't worry, everyone.
Like,
I got my wish because every single chapter, I started laughing every time I wrote Planet X. I was like,
yep, I'm done. Actually, we can go home now.
Yeah, we're with Ty and Wreath, who are tracking Azlin Rell, which is pretty easy to do since he seems unconcerned with being tracked because there's just a path of exploding animals he's leaving behind. I know, I'm sorry. It's not funny. It's just
not.
weird.
And he's not even running. He's doing like just casual walks.
Barefoot walking. Yep.
Okay. Another point that's really frustrating is that Wreath is extra quiet. He's always quiet and contemplative, but he's extra quiet and contemplative. And Ty can tell that something is really bugging him and that this is not a good headspace to be in. So she tries to get him to snap out of it by asking about Azlin and what his weaknesses are. Ty has the right idea of how to handle this situation, but the execution is just not there.
She has a come to Jesus moment with Wreath to be like, we have to get the rod away from him and you need to lock in. Because that's our only hope of doing anything is getting that rod.
Yeah, we're definitely just getting the rod from Azlin, nothing else. But we switch POVs to Wreath and he's like immediately, yeah, she wants to kill him.
One, I mean, he can't logic his way out of that needing to happen. He doesn't want that, but he also can't give proper logical explanation as to why they shouldn't kill Azlin.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, I'll totally help you distract him. But we know, reading this, that it's not that easy.
No. And I think Wreath isn't willing to put words to why he feels the way he does about Azlin. And it has nothing to do with his knowledge on like the Nameless. Wreath definitely has a connection to the dark side now. And that is why he's drawn to Azlin.
Well, they get closer, and Ty does her sneaky little going off to circle around while Wreath approaches. And Azlin, much like Marchion, is being a weirdo, standing on a hilltop, as these people like to do, holding the Rod of Ages, and facing out towards whatever is on the other side, which he wants Wreath to see.
He's not even bothered that Wreath is there. He's just like, Wreath, I need you to show me or tell me what you see.
Yeah, because I imagine whatever he's seeing in the Force has got to be real weird.
Mm-hmm.
And so he almost doesn't trust what he's seeing. So he's like, Wreath, explain to me exactly what I'm looking at, because I don't understand.
And Wreath has this point where he could easily continue with Ty's plan and get him to get away or do anything. But no, he's so intrigued by what Azlin is pointing at that he walks forward and looks down. And I absolutely hated his next choices, which is to protect Azlin from Ty's darts. Do you think they're lethal darts, or did you think they're
or like trank
sleepy
darts?
time?
Or like,
Yeah.
I think they're sleepy time darts. And then she would chop his head off.
Yeah, exactly, just like that.
Oh, yeah. I get it, but it is... I'm so concerned about Wreath. I'm so concerned about his state of mind. And
Me too.
even after he blocks the sleepy time darts or whatever they are, she just is like, no problem, and goes at Azlin with her lightsaber, and he makes another conscious choice to block her.
Yeah, I guess at one point Azlin turns around and grabs Ty by the throat again using the Force. But Wreath turns on Azlin this time, thankfully.
Thank goodness.
Thing. Yeah. He punches Azlin in the gut with the shield and gets it between the two of them. Love it.
I know. I was like, okay, this makes it bearable that he made those choices. As long as it's like a, hey, both of you stop. We have something else to focus on. It's fine. I was just nervous he was going to let Azlin force choke Ty. And
totally. Like,
so,
okay, bye-bye.
Yeah. So everything's fine. Everything's good. And this is when they all look and see what Avar and Elzar saw. The weird mirror disc thing.
This is a new one, right?
There is a mention of there being multiple points on the planet where these vergences of things happen. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was a different one either. Like now.
Yeah, because the only reason why I think it's a different one is because of the Force statue that's hovering above it.
Oh, and also around it, there's hundreds of Nameless. So unless that happened after Avar and Elzar went down into the darkness, it's probably a different one. But they're all dying. So what a weird sight to see.
Well, even worse is that this Force statue represents the light and the dark side of the Force, and they're intertwined amongst each other. Normally there's balance between the two of them, but there's no balance right now. They're chaotically clashing and crumbling. So not only are the Nameless dying, but so is this Force statue, which essentially represents the Force in general.
Yeah. And even not knowing what they're really looking at, because they're seeing that, they know it's wrong. They know this is something that's damaged and not right.
Totally.
So bad vibes all around.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Chapter 28. We're on Planet X.
The Nameless homeworld.
Yeah, we're falling through the air with Buryaga while our souls fall out our butts.
Oh, Ember's so scared. She keeps
so
shooting
scared.
out fire. She's falling.
I did we got a little force pull Leia style, because Buryaga has this moment of, I need to get to her. What's the most efficient way for this to work? Should I try and pull her away from the ground? Should I pull myself closer to her, which is what he ends up doing, basically, and eventually gets his arms around her. Okay, so everything's fine.
Sure. Ember is definitely not scared and spitting out fire erratically.
On a hairy Wookiee.
Yeah. I guess he does have some armor, but not enough to really protect him. So it's like, does he have his helmet still on? Maybe his head's okay.
Oh, I'm just imagining no eyebrows Wookiee.
Oh, no.
It's sad because she would never intentionally hurt Burry.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows that.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, she can't control that she's scared and there's fire coming out of her. And so his fur is lighting on fire. And it takes him back to Starlight Beacon, which is even sadder.
So sad. But also, I was so excited to get this little glimpse as to what happened to Buryaga in between Starlight Beacon crashing. He's in the arms of a Rathtar and underneath the ocean on Iram.
Honestly, escaping Starlight Beacon in the corpse of a Rathtar as an escape pod is the sickest possible way to survive a fall.
So cool.
It's so cool. Love Burry
That's what
forever.
he does. I know. But I guess Buryaga, he goes back to the present and he spots a pond down below and he aims for that. And right before they land, he slows their descent. They plunge into the pond. He crawls out and collapses just as some scary creatures start to come by. But it's okay. Ember has got it.
Ember's a good girl.
She's a good girl.
You'll never guess where we're going for chapter 29.
I needed the title, The Nameless Homeworld, because this chapter is so bizarre that I almost felt like we were no longer on the Nameless planet. I thought we were anywhere else.
Right?
Mhm.
Yeah, what the heck is happening?
Yeah, so Avar and Elzar are walking in the dark and they hold out their lightsabers, which helps them to kind of see. And they've got visuals of these weird black blobs that are oily, shiny, and they can see their reflections in it. And there's kind of a path that is going off into the distance. What is this place?
I know. And they figure out Avar can't hear the song of the Force, but they can still use the Force.
Mm-hmm.
The Force is here, so why can't she hear it?
I love Elzar's suggestion that she just can't hear the frequency here and that potentially it's singing for someone else. Did you, hearing that, kind of get an idea of where we were?
Obviously, in this chapter, I didn't really understand prior. This is the dark side of the Force.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the only way the Force could be there and be able to be used by them. We know Avar only is the light side of the Force.
Mm-hmm.
She is. That is who she is. And Elzar kind of being the one to figure this out makes sense. Because Elzar's always been more in touch with the dark side of the Force than she has.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they follow a path to who knows where. They don't know. We don't know. And apparently there's only predators in this land. So animals that just take and take and take, and they're in this constant state of fear. They spot a light in the distance just as they begin to be attacked by all of these creatures, and they have to fight their way to the light. This structure sounds, it's this massive building with obsidian sheets that are razor sharp. So if you run into it, you'd get all cut up.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this other shimmering doorway.
I love it. It's
Me
weird
too.
and I love it.
Yeah. It's so good.
They're going to go in it, right? I mean, they have to go in it.
I mean, it's either that or get eaten by the insectoid predators that are trying to destroy them.
Such good choices.
Yeah. Oh my God. Do you want to describe this?
They enter this veil door and it's a room. And in the middle of it, they see three beings surrounding a large bowl filled with hundreds of eggs.
Yeah.
And even though they obviously look very different from the Nameless that Avar and Elzar are used to seeing, they instinctually know that they are looking at three Nameless.
Yeah.
I love everything about this.
I do too. And the craziest part to them was that the Nameless turns and mind speaks to them and asks if they're there to kill them too.
My heart.
I know. They speak. These beautiful puppies.
I just realized what's coming up next. I can't not look down at my notes and I'm just so unready. Yeah, chapter 30.
It's fine.
Everything's fine, guys. Reith, Azlin, and Ty are staring down at this weird veiled disc thing, looking at the weird-looking Nameless that they're not used to seeing. And they know, watching them all dying, that Marchion must have done something. He must have done this. And of course, Ty wants to help them because Ty understands that this is not their fault. Azlin doesn't see it that way. I mean, Azlin has spent 50 years, something like that, being terrified of these creatures. And even though it's not their fault, he just can't make that disconnect. And so for him, he's like, why would we intervene?
Yeah, and he goes down this path of he would much rather watch them die and did not even at all care if that meant everything else would die, including himself. He's that far into the fear of these Nameless that he would rather see the death of everything than face this Nameless fear.
And it's not just that he wants that, it's that he knows the alternative is possible. He knows that they could use the Rod of Ages to negate what's happening, and it doesn't matter that it's possible to fix it. He just doesn't want to entertain that. Oh, Rachel, it finally happens though.
I was so proud of Reith in this moment.
God, yes, he tears into him. Finally we get Reith standing up to Azlin, and I was so proud of him.
Yeah, he tells Azlin that it's better to live and find a way to overcome his fear of the Nameless, and basically calls him pathetic.
No, strong words that Azlin needs to hear.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, Reith's not calling him out for being afraid. Reith's calling him out for letting fear get in the way of how he lives his entire life. Being strong would mean you can live with the fact that you are afraid of the Nameless and that they exist, but you can move past it. And the fact that you've held on to this for so long and just focused on that fear instead is what's pathetic. Reith!
I know. It's so good. Even despite what Reith had said, I was still worried about Azlin because I couldn't tell how far he was in either side. But apparently being called pathetic was enough because Azlin holds the Rod of Ages up high and commands live.
Well, it's you bring up an interesting point of where is Aslin's headspace at, and I do think that I did have a feeling he is very, very dark side in this moment, but I think in mindset, it doesn't matter whether he's dark or light side right now. It matters that he is acknowledging I am not a scared child, and whether I'm finding that strength in the dark or light doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
The point is that I can choose to be free of fear. And I still think he's coming from a place of the dark side.
Oh, yeah, totally.
But we're seeing a good thing happen, regardless of which side he's currently pledging allegiance to.
Yeah, Azlin is such a strange and complicated character. He is very fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, chapter 31, we're still on the Nameless homeworld. Marchion Ro is taunting Bell and telling him that him and the other Jedi will never be able to stop him. And I love that Bell just cuts Marchion off and says, hey, you're really tiresome, and is over this monologue.
Love that so much. We don't need to hear you talk anymore.
I know. We switch POVs very quickly, though, to Azlin, who's pouring all of his dark side of the Force into this Rod of Ages. And I love that we get some really interesting information about both the Rod of Power and the Rod of Ages, how the Echo Stones of the Rod of Power work to amplify the user's willpower, and that the Rod of Ages was used to counteract all of that. So cool. So cool.
Oh. It's also really cool that, much like many artifacts we've seen, you can't just have the light side of the Force, or you can't just have the dark side of the Force. I think we've seen this before, where you need some type of balance, or you need multiple users of the Force to make something work. And Azlin realizes that he can't do this on his own. And so he tells Reith that he needs him. And Ty at first is like, no, this is totally a trick. But Reith doesn't think he can afford to even think like that. So, whatever, I just need to try and do this and see what happens. So Reith lays his hands on the rod too and utters that same command to live, but coming from the light side of the Force. Ooh.
So good. Until they are hit by a ray of light and power and both begin screaming.
Yeah. Everything's fine.
Oh no.
We go back to the fight between Bell and Marchion, and I think Bell was unprepared for how skilled Marchion is with the lightsaber.
Not only that, but how quick and agile he is, because Bell is using his Jedi abilities to speed up his movements, but Marchion is able to keep up with no issues. But I also want to address that Bell is affected by the Nameless planet. He has parts of his armor missing, so Bell is going fast, but I don't think it's the full Jedi abilities that he normally has.
Oh no, not at all. Well, and Marchion again is very good at getting into people's heads.
Oh, totally.
And he's baiting Bell because he knows you can throw a Jedi off by messing with their minds that way. And so he's talking about how he cut off Loading Greatstorm's head tails.
I hated that, especially because Bell proceeds to go into a rage.
Yep, and that's how you get killed. I was so stressed out reading this. And he's trying to fight off this hatred that he's feeling for Marchion, but he also is acknowledging Jedi aren't droids. You do feel deeply, but
my God,
the point is that you use those feelings to help others and to give and not take. It's just so hard when he's listening to everything Marchion is saying. He's struggling to hold on to that training that tells him to use feelings to accomplish good things. Instead, he wants to use this burning hatred to just kill Marchion.
Well, we switched POVs to Tai, who has no idea what to do. She's watching both Reith and Azlin scream out in pain when Reith turns to her and begs her to give them her strength. So she too puts her hand on the Rod of Ages and joins in with a command to live.
I love this. It's 3 people who use the Force in very different ways.
I really do too. This was not at all anywhere on my thought process of what was going to happen.
Oh, the bingo card is so messed up.
It's so messed up. But I love that the 3 of them work together to use the Rod of Ages. I don't think I ever realized that the Rod of Ages was going to counteract the Rod of Power. I don't know why I thought it was going to be all one. Like,
I thought it was going to become mega rod.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And it would just accomplish peace and love throughout the galaxy.
Oh,
you combine all 3 together and it's fine.
Is it the fact that Marchion's willpower is so strong that he's able to create that strong of a command? Or is it that, I don't know. It's so unique.
It is. It's almost like if they had been able to get their hands on the Rod of Power, I don't think they would have needed 3 people to command it. They could have just reversed it that way, right? By commanding out with the Force, and it would have been stronger than Marchion, but for some reason negating it is so much harder to do, and that's I'd be curious about that too. Why is it so much harder? So many questions.
Yeah, we briefly go back over to Marchion and Bell's fight. Marchion manages to cut off a piece of Bell's armor. Already he's been missing a couple, so now he's lost another, which is awful. Bell is now having an extremely hard time seeing. His vision is foggy and his head's not clear. And Marchion's laughing at him.
More deep breaths, everyone. We briefly go back to the Rod of Ages, where, of course, we're seeing 3 people from differing parts of the Force, and they say it all together, live, this command, and a surge of explosive energy bursts from the rod, and it frees the Nameless from Marchion's command.
Yeah. Not only that, it is seeking something, and it seeks the Rod of Power and redirects the original command, which is to die, back at the Rod of Power. And there's this crazy moment where there's this bright flash of light and the echo stones in the Rod of Power crack and crumble. It's dead. This Rod of Power is gone.
Again, 500 questions about this. Was the intention always that in negating whatever the Rod of Power wanted, you would kill it? Or is it only because the command that was given was so big and so bad that the negation kills the rod? Yeah, but I just wondered if it was because it was such a terrible command to make, if that's why the negation of it kills the Rod of Power. But
yeah, such a terrible command on force entities that are both the light and the dark. It's crazy.
Yeah, it really is. It's acting so against what the will of the Force would ever be.
Yeah,
that
totally.
Maybe that's why it ends up breaking it, because it's like, we never want anyone to use the Rod of Power again if this is going to be what is commanded of it. I love this so much.
Yeah. Well, R.I.P. Rod of Power. I'm kind of sad. I feel like we've spent so long trying to figure out the different pieces, get them together.
R.I.P. fake Mega Rod that we made up in our minds.
I know.
Speaking of R.I.P.,
yeah.
I was getting real scared because Marchion's like, whatever, I don't need it anymore. Everyone's gonna die anyway. No problem. I can just focus on killing Bell now. Oh, what if we didn't? What if we did not do
just
this?
Shoo, go worry about your Nameless problem. I don't know.
Poor Bell. He's trying to pull his mind together, and all he can think about is like Loden dying, and what if none of this matters? Because the blight is killing everyone, and his mind is obviously just spiraling with the effects of everything. But then he hears a voice telling him how ridiculous these thoughts are. Whose voice is this?
It's Loden Greatstorm's. I love this scene so much.
I'm so glad, so you can talk about it while I sit here and just suck breaths in and try to hold it together.
I think I especially love it because there's this moment where, of course, Bell doubts that it's Loden. But Loden tells him that it doesn't matter if he's really there or not, or just a memory, because Loden gave enough of himself to Bell that he will always be there when he needs him. And to me, this was so reminiscent of Ben Solo when
there it is.
Han comes and talks to him, that I was just like, this is perfect and heartbreaking, but beautiful. And
I know you're just a memory, and it's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're just a memory or not. The lesson is still the same, and the things you need to hear, you still need to hear.
Yeah. And then even crazier, time stops. The Marchion freezes in place, and all of the trees stop freaking out. What is happening?
I know. I don't know if Loden is so powerful in the Force that a Force ghost is able to accomplish this, or if Bell is so powerful in the Force in this moment that he's doing it and obviously seeing it as a manifestation of Loden. Again,
Either
it doesn't
way,
really
it's
matter,
so
but it's cool either way.
No. Yeah.
So proud of Bell in all of this. But yeah, time freezes. He tells Bell no one is alone and that nothing is over until it's really over. And I loved this portion of him asking Bell, tell me why you think the Jedi matter, because everything I've ever taught you is about the answer to that question.
Yeah, the true meaning of a Jedi is to be a light in the darkness, to be there when no one else is, that they're the ones always willing to save what they can, no matter the cost.
Oh, yeah. It's...
Yeah. And then Loden tells Bell how he will go on to live many more days, and how he's so proud of him before fading away.
We're fine. I know. I need to see this in live action though, because
I really do too.
Right? This very cool moment where this, time is freezing. And then as soon as he's like, I'm proud of you, time resumes. And Belle is almost struck by Marchion wielding the lightsaber. But he manages to get out of the way because he's so in the zone now, because he's learned his final big lesson he needed to learn. And he's able to slice into Marchion's thigh instead. And I was like, ooh, I bet that burns.
Marchion is so mad. It's like, how dare
Marchion
you?
deserves it.
He really
Marchion
does.
Fights so dirty. Like, the rules of saber combat do not apply to Marchion at all. Because Marchion tosses an explosive device towards comatose Tarek laying on the ground. And Belle pulls the device towards him instead, which he obviously realizes was...
Like, oops.
Whoopsie poopsie. But, I mean, what was... he could have sent it up and away.
I know.
Towards you.
It's a knee-jerk reaction. And, of course, it explodes 3 meters away from him, and shrapnel flies at him. He's got all these injuries, and his head is ringing, and he can hardly see. Maybe permanent vision damage. It's fine.
He might have just blinded himself in one eye, at least. At least one eye.
Yeah.
So, of course, Marchion's going to be like, heck yeah, this is my chance. And he gets him to drop his saber and punches him over and over and over again. We just learned this really nice lesson. And, what was that for, Loden? If Belle's gonna die right now, because
I know, I agree.
He's really scared.
Yeah, and I like some of the descriptions here, feeling his body move in ways that it shouldn't because his body is broken. How he doesn't have much strength left to do anything. But then he remembers that he has this connection to the Force, which is infinite. And how the Force really wants to live. And so he's able to tap into this force that is connected to not only living things around him, but all throughout the galaxy. It's almost like the connection with Rey to all of the Jedi Force ability. But this one was all living creatures.
Everything. Kind of using him as a vessel to save the Force, essentially, which is crazy.
It's so crazy. The surge of power just knocks Marchion back, and then he flings Marchion up way into the sky. I think Loden did this in Light of the Jedi, right?
Well, and Belle almost having this out-of-body experience of, I'm not even consciously making these choices. This is just pure the Force flowing through me, and I am here, and it's happening.
I can't believe this.
But he's able to push himself up, which, given how broken Belle is, I'm just flabbergasted. But again, the Force is working through him, and he looks up at Marchion with his one working eyeball. And he's able to rip his mask off because I don't need it anymore. All I need is the Force. And this entire next sequence is gnarly.
Yep.
Because Marchion tries to hang on to Loden's lightsaber, and his fingers break one by one. As
it's not funny, but oh my god.
I know, you kind of deserve it though. I liked that the choice was to specifically say the light and the dark are ripping through Belle right now. This is not just the light side of the Force, and Marchion is, I think Marchion for the first time in his life is like, oh, someone actually might have the power to kill me.
I loved it when we switched to Marchion's point of view, and we can see how for the first time he not only acknowledges that someone else has the ability to kill him, but also how small he feels and how he's always felt small. But this is the first time that he's actually really truly acknowledged that fact. And I was just like, this is it. This is why Marchion is the way he is.
And it's just so ironic given how small he made the galaxy feel. Well, this is the ultimate consequence of you making everyone under you feel so small for so long.
Absolutely.
And now you're maybe ending your life feeling the smallest possible. Because in this moment, I was like, Marchion's dead.
Yeah, I was convinced Marchion was dead too. Because Bell drops Marchion from way up high.
Very high.
Very high. I originally actually thought that he yeeted him off of the cliff, but that didn't happen because Marchion eventually falls next to him.
We can only
But
have so many
Bell-
Ben Solo references.
Oh, sorry.
Yeet.
Yeet. But yeah, Marchion plummets to the ground, and only just before he actually hits the ground that Bell kind of cushions the fall.
Enough.
Just enough to make him go unconscious.
But not kill him.
I had no idea Belle was going to be the one to do this. I am so
I didn't
shocked.
I was so worried that Belle was going to get killed by Marchion.
I totally thought Belle was going to die. I'm sorry,
And
Belle.
I no, legit. I didn't believe in Belle, and
I
now
didn't.
we're being proven wrong about it,
Mhm.
and I love that. Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you for sparing Belle, because I really was so scared. And even after Marchion is on the ground about to fall into unconsciousness, he still tries to get at Belle. He
Mhm.
throws these razor-tipped weapons
Oh,
at him.
yeah, that's right.
And Belle calls Loden's lightsaber to him, slices them up, and is like, "You
Yeah.
are pathetic." I love that we're getting the P word thrown around so much at these people who need to hear it. Because
Mhm.
if anyone needs to be called pathetic, it's Marchion.
I
And
agree.
just the last thing Marchion's seeing before he goes unconscious, being Belle holding Loden's lightsaber, is
Mhm.
one of the most beautiful things
I need
I
it to
feel
be
like we can imagine.
art on my wall.
Literally was like, oh, I just need to see this
Yeah.
image because,
Me too.
ooh, what a beautiful rounding out of Belle's arc. And I just,
Yeah.
yep, no words.
Absolutely no words. Just having Belle be the final person to handle Marchion is just so perfect. Mm-hmm.
Well, hope everyone didn't get too happy because, you know.
Chapter 32 is lots of joys and happiness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we are back with Avar and Elzar, who are so shocked that the Nameless is speaking. And they start to realize that this means that these Nameless are sentient and that they've been going around killing sentient beings. And they come to this moment where they're like,
Whoops.
oh no.
I know. I mean, and Avar kind of tries to explain, we weren't just going around killing your people.
Mhm.
There was a reason for it. Here's what happened. And I don't know, it's sad.
It's so sad. And Avar and Elzar take off their helmets, introduce themselves, and explain the whole story, why the Nameless left Planet X, Marchion Ro, the Blight, and the connection. And they mostly want to try and figure out why there's this connection between the Blight and Planet X. And
Yeah.
it takes them a couple tries before the Nameless finally understands what they're talking about.
I like that Elzar figured out a way to word it that made sense for what they actually wanted to know. It wasn't like, can you explain the Blight to us and how it's connected to your world? It's like, can you explain to us how your world is constructed? He was able to kind of spin it in a way that made more sense for what answer they wanted to get out of the Nameless.
Yeah. Because I'm so glad we got this answer. And the Nameless explains that its people consume light and dark as needed to ensure balance, and how if they do not do this, the hunger is released and terrible things will happen.
This whole mystical part of things on this planet is so cool.
It's so cool.
Where they're standing right now in this little room is basically the in-between between light and dark.
Mm-hmm.
And above ground, it's the light. And this place they walked through to get here below ground, you know, is dark.
Uh-huh.
And I like the fact that the Nameless consume both the light
I did
and the
too.
dark. I thought that was super cool. And you guessed this, sort of.
I don't remember. What, that they
You
do both light and dark, or?
know that they were guarding something that had a sort of darkness to it. And obviously it's not the exact same thing, but you had this semi figured out that the Nameless were the guardians of something. And they're the ones who keep this balance between the light and the dark so that this in between thing, this hunger between the two, doesn't escape. And that hunger manifests as the blight.
Crazy. Yeah, I didn't see that it was the blight that they were protecting.
We were thinking it was like a dark-sided monster or something.
Yeah.
Right? But it being the blight is very cool. It's just this forceless hunger.
It's almost a very simple answer to what's going on, but it's so perfect at the same time. And I guess we can go into it later when we finally have all of our pieces together. But the Nameless talks about how the Nameless, when they die, their eggs appear in this bowl, and how suddenly they've had all of these eggs suddenly appear to the point where it's now tipping drastically out of balance. And not only that, it takes the eggs decades to hatch. So basically the Nameless turns to both Avar and Elzar and says that it's way too late and they should just give up now.
When I was reading this, and you probably felt the same way, we felt what Elzar felt, which is this very brief hope. Well, great. The planet can bring itself back into balance naturally then with all these eggs. And it's fine. That solves our problem.
Totally.
But then when the Nameless is like, no, it's too much. It will take too long. It's not happening. That hope just goes out the window.
It really does. And now I'm thinking back to the Nameless eggs. Do they seem small in this moment? Yeah, isn't that funny how, like, when Alicia had the egg as a little pendant, and I was like, wow, why it's so small? And then later it's described as this massive egg. All of these pieces are coming together so perfectly. The eggs growing and taking forever for them to eventually hatch. It's so cool.
It really is, but it's also so terrifying that they're not... You think for a second that they're protecting the eggs or whatever, and they're not. They're basically having a funeral in this moment, acknowledging the Force is essentially going to die before we can rebalance it. And we're just going to stand here and be sad, and we can't do anything to save anyone. It's depressing.
Yeah.
I mean, we get to part 4 of the book, and the title is The Torment of Loss.
This is great.
Yeah, I don't think there was
fine.
any thought that this would be lovely in any way. So, yeah.
I know.
We're back with our lovely little family on Esther Vera for the interlude. And the mom, Kalina, knows her husband has blight on his foot and is going to die. So she's coming to terms with that while also trying to figure out the best way to get her kids to safety. And also, the whole mood of this crowd in this area is growing increasingly frantic because no one knows if the ground's going to cave beneath them at any moment, if the transports are all going to be able to fit them. Like, there's just a lot of uncertainty, and they can see the situation becoming more volatile as time goes.
Well, even worse is that the ground keeps shaking and Kalina's like, oh, it must be because the transports are lifting. Well, off in the distance, the trees begin shaking more than normal and people begin screaming and running towards the park.
This decision Kalina makes is so sad, but I have a lot of respect for her for doing it because
I do too.
Without really communicating what's going on, she just kind of goes by pure instinct and makes a decision for everyone and guides them into a building and up to a rooftop. And it was the right decision because looking out from the rooftop, even though I guess the people, the security forces on the planet had done a scan and said like, no, the blight's not under this part. It's fine. They can see that the whole park is gone. The park that was supposed to be the area where the transports are getting them off. And people are fleeing everywhere. And they understand they're running out of places to go. This is the moment where Kalina is like, we are done.
I hate this.
But she's like, what I want to do is to spend my last, however long we have left, with my family. There's nothing else to be done in this moment. It's so sad.
It's so sad. She sits down against the planter and looks up at it and grabs her 2 kids and wraps them close to her and tells them she loves them and waits for the end to come.
Yeah, this whole thing of like, if we have to die, at least we're gonna die together. It's just, oh, okay. Oh, all these interludes are killing me.
Chapter 33, we move back to the Nameless homeworld. And apparently, after Bell had dealt with Marchion, all of the force that had kept him pretty much standing upright, pain-free, seeing clearly, all went away. So he goes back to not being able to see. His head is dizzy because of the effects of the planet and all these things. So he decides that he needs to go and find the pieces of armor that he's lost and put them back on. And thankfully he does find them, and it does help to clear his mind a little bit.
He has to crawl to the pieces, to be clear.
Oh, yes. He's not leaping or skipping
it's
by
not
any means.
until he gets at least his helmet back on and some other pieces that he can get himself to even stand. That is how badly he is doing in both mind and body.
Yeah. I love, though, his next decision, which is to look at Marchion, and even though he's terribly injured and probably unconscious, Belle's like, I'm not going to trust this at all, and then puts Marchion in binders.
Oh, I loved this, though, because in every horror movie I've ever watched, they always approach the unconscious villain. No, they're always still alive. They're always going to like sit up and stab you or something. Belle, you would do so well in a horror movie.
He really would. Yep. He knows his enemy very well.
Yes.
Well, Belle decides to check in on his 2 friends that went and fell off the cliff, and he looks down and thankfully sees Buryaga lying there, who seems to be alive. I guess he calls his name, and Buryaga just like lifts his hand. I love that, just like,
yeah,
I'm here.
Present.
I know. But Ember's being a good girl and keeping Buryaga safe, but she's getting tired, and Belle knows that she won't be able to keep it up forever. And the only solution is to use the force to pull them both up the cliff. Easy feat. No big deal.
Yeah.
With a broken body.
With a completely broken body. His mind's a little messed up still, even though he's got all of his armor. He's so tired. He's so hurt. He can't do it. He multiple times is trying, and he's getting so frustrated that the force is just not, it doesn't feel like it's listening to him in this moment after everything that's just happened. That's gotta be so frustrating.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I was so shocked by this next segment, though, where we get a POV of Tarek waking up.
Yes.
They're here.
Yay.
And doing somewhat okay. I guess the saddest part for them is that they no longer have a connection to Saret, which really concerns them, because that could either mean they've really been cut off from their sibling, or whether they're dead, or whether they're in hyperspace. So apparently there are multiple options here.
Yeah. But Tarek gets up and sees Marchion Ro on the ground, bound, which is great. I'm sure they were like, oh, gosh, what a great nap. I'm glad I woke up and all this was already done. Yes.
I would have been so shocked and elated. I'm like, what the heck?
Like,
I missed all of this? Yeah. Did I do that?
But
can you imagine? Yes, in your sleep.
Yes.
You actually took care of
defeated
Marchion.
Ro. Congratulations. But what they actually are looking at is Belle trying to call on the Force and about making himself pass out, because they can see that Belle is not doing well as he's trying to do this.
And that Belle is standing at the edge of a cliff, and he's like shaking and ready to collapse.
Yep.
So Tarek makes the decision to walk over and help Belle out.
I love that they're like, hold on, I have drugs. And they both get injected with painkillers just to get a little like burst of like, huh. And together they're able to bring Ember and Buryaga up.
Yay.
Which is great. And don't worry, Tarek also has some extra painkillers for Buryaga because Burry's in rough shape.
Yeah, like patches of his skin are gone. So yeah, deep burn wounds all over his body.
He's tough though, because with the painkiller injection and a little help from some back to patches here and there, he goes over to Marchion Ro, gets all of the weapons that Marchion Ro has and gets rid of them, grabs all the lightsabers he's collected over this time and puts them in his robe so that they can go back to where they belong, and then slings him over his shoulder. No problem.
He probably weighs nothing to Buryaga.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they all begin to walk back to their shuttle.
Yep.
That was a good chapter.
That
More
was.
of that, please, and thank you.
No, sorry. That is like the opposite of what we're about to talk about.
I know.
Yeah, this might be one of the roughest, so everybody buckle up. Chapter 34, Nameless Homeworld. The homeless Nameless.
Yeah.
Avar and Elzar are having trouble processing if it really is too late or not, and if there's really nothing they can do to fix this. I think that's just a hard thing to really wrap your mind around as a Jedi, because there's not often situations like this where there's not some kind of fix.
Oh, totally. And Avar comes up with the idea of trying to find the Song of the Force and the dark side part of the planet. So they decide to go back through the barrier, and I guess Elzar stands guard as she goes into a meditative trance to try and listen to the dark side of the Force.
Yep.
Which is so crazy.
It is. She's never heard this song before. And she's trying to find it, but trying to look for something you've never seen or heard before is gotta be hard.
Until she realizes that she could connect to Elzar, because she knows Elzar very well and knows that he has connected to the dark side of the Force. And this works. She connects to Elzar and can hear the Song of the Force through the dark side.
Yep.
And the description that was written was so good. How it sounds like pain, bloodied fingers, insecurity, smashed instruments.
This just sounds like my liked playlist on Spotify to me. But whatever.
Okay, well, you listen to the Dark Side of the Force
Apparently.
song.
I was cracking
Okay,
up.
can you have that as your new album
Oh
playlist?
my gosh, can we make a Spotify playlist?
Actually, yes.
Perfect.
Link in bio.
Smashed instruments. Yeah, screaming vocals. I got you.
Full soloists crying out that they are alone.
That's all I listen to is grown men singing loudly alone, okay? Oh my gosh. I do love, there's a couple things about this that I'm going to try so hard not to go down the rabbit hole on, but I liked the connecting with Elzar bit because she specifically was talking about how even though the dark side of the Force, the study of it is reserved only for select masters. And I find that,
of course it is.
I know, I find that so interesting though, because how can you really know the Force and have this mastery over it without understanding all parts of it? And so it's odd to me that they limit that kind of knowledge. And Avar, this comes up with her connecting with Elzar, who knows the dark better than she does and knows not only about it, but how to access it without letting it consume you. And I feel like the Jedi do themselves a disservice by reserving it only for specific people. But I did like that she brought up that hearing the full Song of the Force for the first time with both light and dark, she realized how much she was missing out on understanding the fullness of the Force. And she doesn't view that as limiting. She accepts, you know, I am of the light side of the Force. That's what I choose. I view that as limitless while also acknowledging there's more. And I
totally.
really, really liked that.
I do too. And especially because as she continues to listen to the Force, she pushes herself out to listen to all the different people that are on Planet X, the other Jedi, Marchion, and then she expands it out even further to Jedi that she knows. Then it goes further to people that she doesn't know, everybody in the galaxy. She goes on to listen to the song of the creatures and the plants, and to the point where like she's essentially listening to the entirety of the Force. This is so cool.
It really is. But
and I love that she has this thought where she's like, oh, if only I could live within the Force, I would be without pain, suffering, and I would be completely free. And this is when she realizes for the first time maybe that she has had a dark side thought.
Yes. She's like, whoops, there it is.
Uh-huh.
Okay, the bad thing though about this reaching out is she gets an answer that she doesn't want. Not really.
I don't want this answer.
None
either.
of us want this.
Mm-mm.
And she knows in this moment, in this reaching out, what has to be done in order to stop the blight. She got her answer and she wishes she hadn't for a moment, I think.
And Elzar also gets the answer too because they're connected, right? He was also with her the entire time.
Yeah. So when she comes back to herself, she sees poor Elzar staring at her, and he's injured from these creatures and covered in blood from these creatures. And he's like, I know too. And we both have to acknowledge the blight is taking everything in soon, and we have to make a decision here. But what we know is the Nameless are right. They cannot do this anymore. They cannot keep the balance as they always have. It has to be something else.
And who else that is light-sided and dark-sided and have a connection so strong to each other to make this happen?
There's even a brief moment where Avar's, okay, what if it's just one of us and we use Azlin for the dark side of the Force? And Elzar's like,
I know. She tries so hard. I know.
It has to be both of them. It has to be these two. It just hurts so bad because we know the plan now is that Avar is going to be the light side of the Force for this planet, and Elzar is going to be the dark. And they together are going to maintain the balance until the Nameless X can catch up and get back into a place where it's balanced. But that's going to take decades. It's going to take the rest of their lives.
Yeah, it gets worse.
Somehow.
I was like, okay, maybe they can hold hands.
Maybe they can make out every once in a while.
They can like skip through the forest, light and dark together. No.
Oh.
Avar must stay within the dark side of the Force, in that perfect, most dark point of the planet, while Elzar will stay in the most light side part of the planet. And they will never, ever see each other again.
Nope.
So they must say their final goodbyes.
Literally, God, this is the freaking worst.
It's awful.
They're trading. I mean, don't get me wrong. The future is over as of right now. The blight is taking everything. I understand that.
It's so true.
But
yeah,
there's this theoretical future they had where they were going to be together and be happy and be in love and have all these moments. And they're essentially trading all those moments right now for the sake of everyone else in the galaxy. That is so purely Jedi.
It truly is.
Of them. But I'm sad.
Gosh. I am so sad.
Star Wars doesn't want anyone to be in love ever.
They don't. Sadness and pain for all.
Yeah, we have to read about them saying goodbye to each other forever. It's like,
I hate everything.
I hate everything that's ever happened. Yeah, that was the hardest chapter.
It was.
I think to get
Did
through.
you see this coming?
Oh, not until we were reading this section. There was no point during the last recording or the one before that I thought this was happening.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, not even at all.
Yeah. Deep breaths, everyone.
Everything is fine.
Our hearts are just broken and we'll never be the same, and two people in love will never kiss again. It's fine.
No.
Love is dead.
Oh my goodness. Well, in chapter 35,
Please,
Nameless
let's leave
homeworld.
this situation as soon as possible.
we're not leaving. Well, we're leaving Avar and Elzar because we're moving over to Azlin, who I'm kind of mad at. I really don't want to think about him right now. But apparently he's walking away from Ty and Wreath and had a moment where he's like, should I kill them for funsies?
But he
doesn't. Okay. How kind of him. Oh my god. Apparently the Rod of Ages is destroyed also, so I guess goodbye to that one too.
How many things are we supposed to say goodbye to in this book?
We're saying, actually, you're right. We have said goodbye to so many things.
This is interesting, though. You've got a person who has been so obsessed with the Nameless and with the fear they've caused and with all these things. That's been his purpose. His self-inflicted purpose is to get rid of the Nameless. And now he's weirdly saved them, and he has no purpose and is just kind of wandering around the jungle on instinct, wondering what he's gonna do.
And not only that, his fear is gone, so much so that it feels like a big part of himself is missing. So he follows this trail until he finds a starship hiding in the foliage. No big deal. Did you expect this ship to just be sitting here and that Azlin would find it? I didn't.
I was hopeful we would get a reference to this person. I didn't think it was going to come about this way, though. So I loved this.
Yeah. Apparently the ship is still working. Azlin is able to open up the door, walk inside. He walks to the cockpit, and there he finds a lightsaber.
I want to know what in his foresight he saw when he saw the lights. You know what I mean? I wonder what the lightsaber looks like with his unique force vision.
I do too.
But yeah, as soon as it was like, it's a lightsaber, I was like, this is totally Barnabas Bim's ship.
I did the exact same thing. They found his ship.
They did. Oh.
I wonder where he went to.
He's just naked running around planet X. Not a care in the world. 500 years old.
That's fun.
Sounds great, Barnabas. All right, well, chapter 36, we have gone nowhere. Wreath has woken up to Azlin being gone. The Rod of Ages dead. He's wondering, what the heck did we just look at? What the heck did we just do? I don't understand how everything is connected. He just knows it is. And so his mind is kind of in overdrive right now because all these pieces are coming together, but he still hasn't quite got the full puzzle finished. And so he's like, is this something that can be fixed? I don't know, and I don't know what to do about it.
Yeah, because he can see that the Nameless are no longer controlled by the Rod of Power. Their eyes are clear, but they haven't moved. They are still reaching out to this pool with the Force statue above it, and it kind of looks like the Force statue is a little bit more stable, but that could be his imagination. Who knows? But like, what does this all mean?
Yeah. I love Ty's reaction is very different. She is just agitated. I feel like this is you and me at Azlin right now.
That's so true.
I know, and I'm like, no, I totally
just want to go kill him.
Yep. As I'm like, well, I don't know. There's a lot to be learned from this, you know? No, Ty is so justified in being like, what if I just chopped his head off?
But Wreath has to like calm her down and say, no, let's just go back to the shuttle. We'll meet up with the rest of the gang and see what they're up to.
I love that he's like, I don't think Ty wants to be my friend after this. You
and
don't
he goes, I
say,
don't care.
Wreath.
Yeah. Totally. Oh my gosh. Yeah, both Wreath and Ty head back to the shuttle where they still see the nameless bodies there, and they were supposed to have been burnt by now, but
Yeah.
they haven't. So they decide to individually line the nameless bodies out and set them aflame, which apparently works better. It was interesting that they chose to include this. I
saw it as like a respect thing. I mean, I know they weren't trying to be disrespectful, but piling all these corpses on top of each other feels very but they didn't know they were sentient beings, so I can understand like they were just going to burn them all together. Lining them up side by side is a little more like giving as much dignity and respect as you can.
That's a good point.
So that's
I'm
kind of
currently
how I
envisioning the giant pile of orcs in Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers, and they're just like flinging. You know what? You're right. A giant pile is not the way to respect people.
It is not the way. So.
No.
I like this little moment of the other team split up. Now we have to decide which way to go. I was like, that's why you don't split up.
Exactly. Although I'm kind of glad they did split up because Belle managed to get Marchion, but Avar and Elzar figured out an answer about how to rescue the Blight. So in this instance, it was a good answer.
Everything was as the Force willed it.
Exactly.
Before they could even decide which path to follow, one of the groups comes out, which of course is Belle, Tarek, Buryaga, who is still carrying Marchion Ro, and they emerge from the jungle to kind of catch up on what has happened. And Wreath decides that him and Ty can go after Elzar and Avar while they secure Marchion Ro. But this is when it comes out that it's like, wait, where's Azlin? And I love that Ty is just like, he let him go. Wreath let him go. It's Wreath's fault. Wreath let him get away.
She calls him out
so hard. And Wreath is like, listen, we saw something really important out there, and my priorities were in a different place, and I just think there were more important things than what Azlin was doing. But yes, I understand it's my fault and my responsibility.
Just so we're all clear, this is Wreath's responsibility.
Just so everyone knows, this was both his fault and his responsibility. Oh, Ty.
I know. Well, before the group can go look for Avar and Elzar, that's when Elzar walks into the clearing, and next to him is the most beautiful Nameless they have ever seen. I love this description of how the skin is glowing and transparent, and just how almost ethereal this sentient being is.
Yeah.
So cool, but so sad.
It is. It's hard that Elzar has to be like, look, these supposed monsters that we have been fighting all this time were not monsters at all. They were these beautiful sentient beings that were just as hurt as we were. Yeah. So this is when the rest of the group catches up to where we're at by hearing about this plan. And Elzar explains that the only thing that can heal what's happened is time. And the only way they can afford that time is if Avar and Elzar sacrifice themselves to provide it. And so the Nameless is guiding Elzar to, like you said earlier, there's points of very light and points of very dark. And the Nameless is going to guide Elzar to the place of light where he can be the most used.
It doesn't seem like the group really reacts like I think they would.
They're so put together.
They are.
I would have just been like,
like, what do you mean you're staying? We're going to figure out another way to do this. Like, we'll have rotating teams. I don't know.
Maybe it's in Elzar's composure. And so maybe it's that finality of like, there's no point in us debating this. We are past the point of no return, and this is obviously the only option. But yeah, they learn about Avar already being in her place in the dark, which is very sad.
That's so sad.
And Elzar addressing, this is goodbye. You will never see Avar again, and this is the last you're going to see of me.
I have a hard time because you hear that tragedy, and then the next point I have is Wreath just wants to know what the Nameless's name is. He doesn't breathe. He doesn't care. He's just like, who are you?
It's like, oh no. Anyway.
But we find out that they're called the Shriekerai. I know. It makes me wonder how they knew about this. Because there was that Shri
Yeah.
Karai
Shikarai
song.
Karai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to know where that name came from and how it almost seems like Azlin heard that name because Azlin was the one who started the rhyme, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So did he like somehow tap into the Nameless that he was able to hear the true name
Oh my
Right.
God, were they calling out for Shri Karai?
and like help?
And he heard that?
Mhm. Wow. This is devastating.
I hate everything about that, but I also love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this Nameless is speaking to all their minds
Mhm.
and is like, you can never, ever tell anyone that this planet exists. This has to be kept a secret. No one can disturb this planet again if they have any hope to repair what has happened. That's the only way this is going to work.
Mhm.
Secrets are no fun.
Well, the irony of what happens next is they hear a shuttle taking off and flying off into the distance. And Ty just stares at Reed.
I just love imagining the Nameless looking at that and being like, "Ugh,
I
this is why you guys aren't invited to come here."
know. But Reed is like, no, don't worry. Aslan will never tell anybody about this place ever. Okay.
Oh, we'll see about that.
Mhm.
I like that Ty's like, does this even matter? We're stuck here. Who are we going to tell?
Mhm.
We can't get off this planet. There was the only working starship on the planet. It just took off. But just as they're wondering about how they're ever going to leave, Tarek collapses on the ground because all of a sudden Saret's mind suddenly returns to them.
They're
And-
okay.
They're okay. Sarah is alive. And obviously, this means likely that they're approaching or
Mhm.
getting closer to them if Sarah and Tarek have now reconnected.
Yeah, apparently Sarah tells Tarek that they are with Vernestra and the rest of the other group and that they're right above the veil and they're coming to rescue them. Well, they're all looking at the sky, wondering where Aslan is going and hopeful about being rescued by Vernestra and the others. When they look back down to where Elzar and the Shri Karai were standing, they notice that they were gone. So I guess that's goodbye.
Elzar just Irish goodbye.
He did. Oh my gosh. Well,
We get the only nice part title in this entire book.
I know.
Part 5, The Quiet Dawn.
Interlude. Estar Vera. Anyways, we're with our adorable family again. And Raiden, who has the blight on his leg, hasn't felt it this whole time. Apparently the blight's been spreading, but can't feel it at all. Suddenly, his leg is in tremendous pain. So he rolls up the pants sleeve to try and see what the heck is going on, and it is necrotic and disgusting.
Oh.
But the blight is gone.
Yep. Amazing.
Amazing.
I wonder why. I wonder what happened.
I
It's crazy.
know.
It's got to be so weird for them because they don't understand what's going on or what that really means. But he does know it means he can hold his family regardless of what's coming next.
Yeah. And there's almost a moment too where they look around them and it seems like the blight is gone from their surroundings too. And there's
Yeah, it's all just like deadness where it was.
Yeah. Well, they
Yeah.
made it. Our adorable family survived. I didn't think it
Somehow.
was going to happen. I thought this was just going to
Somehow
end
this
in
family returned.
sadness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I really thought they were all dead. So
This was a great conclusion to their story.
yeah, Charles had some mercy on us
Mhm.
and our hearts.
I know he did. Oh my goodness. What do you think about this next chapter, chapter 37?
I was
The-
pretty mad.
Jedi Temple. What were you
Oh,
mad
not
about?
that one. Sorry. I was mad at chapter 38. I skipped over the 30. I
Oh.
keep doing that. Yeah.
Okay.
Chapter 37,
Uh-huh.
delightful. Love.
Great. Yeah, because the Jedi are surrounding the blight, right? And
Yeah.
they're holding the blight back with all of their force ability, and suddenly
Yeah.
it feels like cold water was dumped on all of them.
Yeah.
And that incessant pressure is gone to the point where the force that they were using to push back the blight has nowhere to go other than the other walls behind them, and they crack and crumble. Oh, goodness.
It's just like this beautiful moment, though, of the first time in a long time the Jedi feel a sense of hope. Oh, same.
What did you think about how there was still a strange spot on the floor? Did you pick up on that?
Yeah, but I viewed it the same as on Esther Vera, where it's not like everything just goes back to normal. Where the
Okay.
blight was, there is still something, but it's this weird dead space,
Okay.
if that makes sense. You can tell something was there.
I was worried it was like dormant light that was just sleeping.
Well, I mean, I think it is. I viewed it as fossilized blight, basically.
Ooh, okay.
And that if something ever happens to Planet X,
Mhm.
it will re-emerge, is how I took it.
Okay.
But
Yeah, that makes sense to me for sure. But chapter
chapter 38,
38,
I'm mad.
Yes. I was so mad.
So pissed.
This woman
Yeah.
is such a weasel. She is so good at finding ways to get out of any sort of wrongdoing.
Even in her own head, she has convinced herself this was not her fault.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all Marchion. I can't. I want to strangle her.
Yeah.
We had talked about Gira had nothing to leverage for herself for the Republic. And Lena knows this. And so even when Gira did try to be like, I'll offer you that we'll hand up, the occlusion zone is fine. And Lena was like, what do you mean?
It's mine.
It's already mine. But for some reason, she still accepted the symbolic gesture of the Nihil surrender. And I don't understand why.
I really don't understand why either, unless it was to help bring in the planets in the occlusion zone that had sided with the Nile, which kind of was my guess, because she does mention later how she wants to bring in the rest of the planets, and even those that had sided with the Nile, whoever wants to come back to the Republic, they are all welcome. And if they see one of their top Nile officials hanging out in the Senate, then maybe it has a good look. I don't know. But I really honestly personally hate it. I feel like Gira should be in this trial along with all of the other top Nile.
That's my thing. And not only that, she under the table contacted all these major corporations she had contacts for, including a newer one called the Trade Federation.
What? Here they are.
And basically offered all these corporations knowledge about the science that the Nihil had used in things like path engines, scav droids, storm seeds, and even the work of Baron Bulin. And she made deals to essentially sell these technologies to them. And in exchange, they needed to leverage their influence to get her back into the Republic. And not just into the Republic as a citizen, in a position of power. I'm so mad she got away with this.
So mad she got away with this. I even feel if she had just gotten away with no repercussions, I would have been mad. But to the point where she's in this place of power is beyond ridiculous.
And I don't want to be a downer about the rest of the book, but even this upcoming hopeful We Are All the Republic chapter is very purposeful in my head to remind us of why the Republic falls. Because things like this are allowed to happen.
Totally.
Where bad people who have done bad things are allowed to return to power with minimal consequences. And then we're like, well, how did the Republic fall? How did the Republic get to the Clone Wars? This is how, because of people like this.
Yep.
So, yeah, she sat there in the convocation chamber, watched Nihil war criminals go through their trials while she sat there cozy, knowing she was free and safe.
And
oh my God.
The
level.
Greatest trial of them all is Marchion Ro. I love that we got a trial for Marchion Ro. I know we wanted him dead, and that's satisfying, but not nearly as satisfying as this trial, because all these people come and tell him of all the awful doings that he's done, and it's really a chance for everyone else to get closure. I think Marchion will be Marchion. He could care less about the awful things he's done, but everybody else needs to hear the awful things that he has done.
Yeah. And, I mean, Marchion hasn't spoken since his capture, but he decides after all these things are listed out that he did wrong, he's going to stand up and try to make a grand philosophic point about how he's everything and you're all small, whatever. It's so good and it's so necessary that this happened because it means nothing at this point. It doesn't matter. And Marchion needs to experience talking into the void, and all he gets back is his sentence. And it's so good. It's the perfect sentence for him because it's solitary imprisonment on a deep space facility staffed only by droids, and he'll be alone the rest of his life. And even Gira acknowledges this is great because there's no one for him to control. There's no one for him to acknowledge, like to give him that feeling of I matter. There's nothing. It's just him.
It's so good. Yeah. Gira has this moment where she's just so happy she has won, and until she gets a message that says unable to deliver, subject deceased. I was like, what is this message? Who has died? And it's her daughter, Avon, who somehow managed, I believe Avon is alive, and has somehow managed to send this message faking her death. And at the end of the day, that's all Gira wanted, was a relationship with her daughter. And because she never gets this, or because she gets this message, she realizes that relationship with her daughter is gone forever. And at the end of the day, she has lost. Serves you right.
It's what she deserves.
It does, yeah.
So I'm glad she lost in some capacity. But, ooh, chapter 39. We're on Monument Plaza.
What did you think about this chapter?
It was almost depressing in how very realistic it was. We know Lena means well. We know she's a good person. But this is also this weird tipping point where I can see how we end up where we end up later.
I agree. Because I'm really frustrated with her because not only is she talks about how the Republic is this concept and how everybody has to believe in it in order for it to become a thriving community, but I hate how she emerges from this terrible situation with a really bad outlook on the Jedi Order.
It's weird.
Doesn't trust them. They saved the entire galaxy, and she's almost resentful or hates
She's resentful of the power that they have to do that. But if it wasn't for them having the power to do that, you'd be dead.
Exactly. And it's to the point where she just needs to be able to control everything. And because she can't control the Jedi, she dismisses them, and instead she decides to create her own little mini army. She's like, it's not an army, but it's an army to use in their stead. And so now we kind of see why the Republic becomes what it is, this break and this divide between the Chancellor and the Jedi, and because of their inability to trust the Jedi. I don't think anybody should put their complete blind faith in the Jedi Order for the obvious reasons that they are. But at the same time, I think this reaction is really excessive.
It's odd, and even though I don't think she means it to be a bad thing, I think it turns into a bad thing.
100%.
Obviously. But, oh well, she's got a job to do. She's going to do her little speech. It's a really nice thought. For me, it just sounds so empty. Does that make sense?
I was not a fan of this speech at all because this doesn't feel hopeful, because she acknowledges she wants to bring the planets of the Occlusion Zone back into the Republic, and she knows that there's going to be some issues with that. But they're all going to get it together because they are all the Republic. It feels like, I think you said, empty and flat, and like she doesn't quite believe it to the extent that she once did.
When it feels like she's trying to convince people who now know, because of what the Nihil did, that they don't have to be part of the Republic if they don't want to. They don't have to be part of any structure they don't want to. She's trying to convince everyone that they should want to be part of the Republic because it's this great thing. And I think that was the wrong, I don't know. I don't know the right way to go about it in this circumstance. I'm not a politician, but I think that's why it feels empty, is because it just feels like she's trying to convince people that the Republic is the right thing. And I think this would have been an okay moment in history to say we need to look at the Republic and decide if there are things we want to change. And instead, she said, the Republic is the same as it's always been, and it's great. And you guys should want to be part of it.
Oh, yeah. It's almost like blaming the Nile for everything that happened and not acknowledging their own actions that contributed to the problem.
Yes. And there are problems in the Senate. We know this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and even now, she is saying that people in the Senate are arguing about who gets priority in terms of aid. It's a reminder that the Republic is not perfect. And this sort of weird moment could have been used to acknowledge that.
Totally.
And it wasn't.
Well, good luck, Republic.
Best wishes. Hope nothing bad happens.
It's fine. Everything is fine.
Oh, girl. I know I shouldn't be excited about this. I know that, and I want everyone to know I know that. But I am. I'm sorry.
Why are you so excited?
Because we're out, chapter 40. We're floating everywhere, apparently.
Oh.
Out in a ship. Previously owned by Barnabas Vim. And Azlin Rell is like, I'm enjoying being alive. Yes. And he's opened up Barnabas's lightsaber to remove the crystal. And I know this is wrong. I acknowledge that. The crystal is like, please don't.
It's crying out in pain.
It's crying. It's all sad. But he's like, no, here's all my fear and my weakness and hatred and pain and all that good stuff that you need. And he bleeds the crystal. And puts the saber back together and ignites it. And he knows, even without being able to see, that the blade is red.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, but it's so cool.
So we can acknowledge that Azlin is the start of the Sithy stuff, right?
That's which you said. You said that.
Yes.
And it made me so excited because I was like, Rachel was right. I love a redemption arc and all, but man,
This is more fun.
Sith stuff.
Yeah.
This is way more fun. Sorry, Kyber Crystal.
Oh.
A little bleeding never hurt anyone.
Poor Kyber Crystal. Yeah, I'm very curious to see what he does. I don't think this is the end of Azlin. This is the end of Azlin in this story, but I feel like we're going to get more of him later.
I need to get the story of Wreath catching up to Azlin and finding what he's done. And what he's done is reform the Sith.
I know. Well, it's like, it's now Master and Apprentice and the Sith now. So, like, R.I.P. Wreath. Sorry, spoiler for later when Wreath decides to go after Azlin.
Stop.
I
just think that's kind of cool.
That's fair.
And I'm not apologizing about it.
I know. I'm just disappointed in Wreath.
We'll see what Reed does. You never know. You never know.
Okay. Are we taking bets then? Wreath becomes Sith or
I know.
not
I was
Sith?
like, he's totally gonna be a Sith apprentice. I can like feel it in my bones.
Yeah, same. Well, especially when he went to talk about in that past chapter about he viewed Azlin as one of his masters. You're like, oh, whoa.
Well, that's a
Where did
strong
this come
word to
from?
throw around.
He's just learned so much from his teachings. Like, what? I know.
In less Sithy news, we get all these really nice little snippets of people's sort of not end, but the end of their story as we see it right now throughout the galaxy. And some of them are very obviously joyful. Some of them are more just like, we'll see what happens, maybe, question mark. And I really liked this little segment. It's a nice little jumping around between like, we see Josh and Pika introducing their baby to bartender Slindo, and they get to toast to moving on with life and to happy things, which is nice, right?
Yeah, it really is. I loved this next part where Porter Engle is on his way to Gansifor. Back to the beginning. Apparently, he wants to change his life.
I love this.
And what better than the place where he had lost himself to begin with? And yeah, he partly wants to start over. Another part is to try and find information about what happened to his sister, Barash. And I'm so excited for him. I'm very curious to see. I feel like he's another character that we'll eventually see at some point later on. And,
I think so too.
Right?
Especially with him acknowledging that he knows in his bones he won't be alone forever.
I know. That was
Like,
so
I
sad.
need to know what that means
Mm-hmm.
immediately. Thank you.
Yeah, me too. We move
We
over
go to
to Coruscant.
yeah.
Yeah. We move over to the Jedi Temple where all of the Jedi have gathered and they're all celebrating. It's a memorial service celebrating all of the lives that were lost, but it's joyful and happy, and there's food and drinks and dancing and music and something so beautiful that Torben Buck would have loved. And it was like, why?
Why though?
I know.
Yoda's kind of having a moment, standing off to the side, kind of pondering what all this means and what the order will become from here. And I did like, even though things don't end up so well in the future, I did like this moment of Yoda acknowledging that the reason he thinks they were able to overcome is because of how connected they are to each other in the order,
Mm-hmm.
between the friendships, between people, between the master-student relationships, etc., etc. And that's the greatest strength of the order, is that no Jedi ever stands alone. And
I love
again, it
that.
makes it so hard to know what comes next.
Because he's
But
literally
I think
like, as
that's
long as
realistic.
we're together. I was like,
Right. And then somehow, obviously, they all end up becoming these super separated emotionally entities. And that's where their weakness comes in. So I like that it's addressed here, of like the reason they fail later is because they aren't this anymore. And it's interesting that he has this moment of reflection about it, and then somehow that comes to be under his leadership.
Yeah. I definitely think the Clone Wars messed him up in many, many ways. And then definitely having a Sith working in the background, confusing the emotions of all the Jedi did not help.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So it's bittersweet to read these nice things, but to also know what's coming.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully, I mean, Yoda is like, what if I put these thoughts to bed for right now so I can go to the buffet table and just enjoy myself for 5 seconds, which I completely agree and understand.
I did like that he acknowledged Alicia Zeveron for a little bit.
Same.
And how her influence is what caused all of this.
Yeah.
I get excited anytime we see Phase 2 characters. I'm like, oh, there you
Same.
are.
I need 500 more Phase 2s.
I know, I do too.
Ty Yorick returned to Coruscant, not to like join the Jedi Order back or anything.
Definitely not that.
Totally not. Just to pay her respects to Torben and get her stuff, and also ponder what her future holds.
Yeah.
So, who knows?
This next little segment. Reith is leaving to Coruscant to find Azlin. Okay. Makes me
With
sad.
approval. I know. I really love Reith, and part of me wants him to stay just the light side good boy forever. I just realistically, with his personality, it's not happening. The second I feel like you get any sort of major curiosity about the world, it's over.
Exactly. So this is the slippery slope of the dark side. See, this is why they don't teach the dark side in the temples.
Okay, but if he understood that slope, I think he would be more cautious about how he approaches it. And instead, if you leave something a complete mystery, then people who are naturally curious are going to be more drawn to a mystery. If you make it not a mystery anymore, it's not as enticing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm just saying, if you make something feel mysterious and cool and whatever, then of course people are going to be like, yeah, I'm totally going to do that.
Yeah. I'm just sad that the shield is going to go away forever because silly Reith is taking it with him, and goodbye to that too.
I do love the shield.
Yeah, it's so cool.
It is. It's fine. Everything's fine. Bell never sees Loden again, and that sounds sad, but it's not, because it turns out he doesn't need that anymore.
And I like this next segment with Buryaga, how he uses his empathetic ability to locate a Padawan who's struggling with all this guilt she has, or they have, and he decides to go and help them out.
With chapter 41.
I hated this chapter, but I also appreciated it.
We needed it.
Yeah.
But it hurts.
It does. The title of the chapter is Within the Veil. And I love that we find out that Planet X is actually called Sophros, which translates to the balance. We're getting all of these beautiful names to nameless things, and I really appreciate that.
This is my moment to say this was a spoiler I got.
Oh, really?
I knew the name of the planet. Yeah.
Wow.
It was written in a comment.
Oh, okay. Well, good. Well, despite being apart, both Avar and Elzar still communicate with one another. And apparently they can use those cool mirrors on the planet to briefly see one another, but they can't stay for long, nor can they touch one another without risking collapse of everything. But this is okay to them because they are Jedi. And it is enough to know that they are protecting life and light. I know, it's so heartbreaking. But it does give me a little bit of like comfort knowing that they're still together and that they still communicate and they can kind of see each other.
All I need, though, is when this is done and the eggs are replenished, I just need them to be able to have a moment.
I do too. What a crazy end for their story.
Yeah. Absolutely bonkers. It makes complete sense, but I never could have thought of it.
I did not expect it at all.
Well, are you ready? We are here at the final thing, the epilogue. And then that's it.
I know. This epilogue, though.
Yeah. Marchion kind of lived a pretty cushy life of imprisonment. He had a gym.
I know.
I pay
Same. That's so
rent
nice.
to my apartment to have a gym. You probably pay for a gym membership.
I do. And it's not
Marchion
cheap.
gets it for free with a side of genocide. And I just don't think that's fair. But what do I know?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess there's even a library and a small dining room.
Don't even get me started on the library. I bet his kitchen's bigger than mine.
It probably is. And he's got droid friends and an airlock he has access to and he's over it.
That's the thing I'm most jealous of. God.
Where's my airlock?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, goodness.
But in spite of our teasing, this really is the best punishment for him.
Yep, it's perfect. And I love, too, that they didn't just stop there. Like, they could have easily been like, he's just on this asteroid. He's drifting off into space and never will encounter anybody else. But no, we had to see the whole thing.
Yep.
I don't even know how to begin.
I don't either. He like goes through all these phases of trying to escape and not succeeding, of even contemplating the airlock, of trying to slice into his droid attendants, of then having to mourn when he ruins one of the droids and he's like, my friend, because he has no friends.
Ow.
His ancestor ghosts never visit him again because, you know,
They're like, he's pathetic.
they can't be bothered. And eventually we watch as he starts growing older and weaker and gets ill. And this sounds so bad coming out of my mouth, I'm sorry, but Marchion gets the life he deserves, which is a life where he dies alone with no one to even come for his body. That's so sad, but that's the life he chose to lead.
Oh, 100%. This is such a perfect ending. I am so glad. I had actually glanced back at the book prematurely when I was trying to figure out page number, and I saw that Marchion Ro, I don't know how I read it, but I read it as like he was happy wherever he was. And I was like,
happy in his gym.
oh my God. I was like, that guy managed to live and live happily someplace all by himself. Like, okay. And then to like actually realize that he's sad and alone and dies alone as an old man. Like, this is the perfect like repercussions, like what's the word I'm looking for? It's what he deserves.
Justice.
Justice.
Yep. Well, that's it. With that happy thought, that is the end of Trials of the Jedi. I can't believe it's over.
I can't either. We got through it.
We did.
We didn't cry nearly as much as I thought we would.
I cried, but hopefully my eyes are small enough that you really can't tell.
I think I just went. I looked off into the distance.
If you saw me doing this, like, mind your business. Don't zoom in on the video at any point, please.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
was a lot.
Such a wonderful way to conclude this saga. It was so perfect. I even loved the addition. Really added stress. You're invested in someone other than the main characters, and why it was so important to maintain the balance on Sophros. Okay. Because there are these little families that just want to get by, and they deserve to live too. So
yeah. Oh, it was a beautiful story and a beautiful saga. I'm really sad that we're ending it. Thankfully, we're gonna have one more episode of talking about print media because we have saved some positivity for last. We have 2 comic issues to talk about, so it'll be like a nice, very different mini-sode compared to this one.
Oh my god, 3 hours later.
Yeah, where we'll actually wrap up the entirety of the High Republic, but this is the bulk of the story ending here, so... But stay tuned for our next episode where we'll go through those final comics and we'll talk about what's coming up. I hope everybody enjoyed this very long, very sad journey.
We try to make it lighthearted as best as we can.
We did, but hopefully the insanely good writing of this book came through in how we talked about it, because there's no really proper way to describe how well written it was. But hopefully we did it some justice. I will keep our little creator thing as short as possible today since we've got such a long episode today. But I did want to mention that we're going to talk about Rebel Grace. You can find them on Instagram at rebelgrace_shop, where you can find links to their shop or just browse through their timeline and see all the amazing things they make. They make a lot of jewelry and pens, and something I really like about them is they make both gold and silver jewelry, because sometimes you can only find one or the other. And people generally have a preference, so it's kind of nice that they offer both. And you bought from them at WonderCon, right?
I did, yeah. I got their Heart of Beskar necklace, which I absolutely adore.
Yeah, they seem to specialize in doing crests, the symbols of the rebellion and things like that, or sigils, but they offer a little bit of everything.
What I like about their style is that it's very subtle Star Wars. I've had people remark like, wow, that's really pretty. And I go, it's a Star Wars necklace.
But anyway, so yeah, go check them out, Rebel Grace Shop, and hopefully you can offer them some support. But other than that, anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
Thank you for everything, High Republic.
For Light Life.
Stop.
Everything's fine. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for your support. We hope you'll subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts, or on our YouTube channel, The Sacred Text, a Star Wars podcast.
Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, or Threads, The Sacred Text Podcast, or send us an email at thesacredtextpod@gmail.com.
And finally, if you would like to financially support the podcast, head over to buymeacoffee.com. You can either look up The Sacred Text Pod or it's / The Sacred Text Pod from buymeacoffee.com to donate today.
We'll see you for our next episode.
May the Force be with you.